Oh yes, Charlie was waiting. Oh, this is good. I noticed this just before we started recording. Charlie was waiting for me with the cruiser. That should be by the cruiser.
Yeah, the cruiser. That's what people do in their cars, isn't it?
No, it's a police car. Slang.
You know what I think? I bet she like pumped herself up on crack and heroin and then started writing. That's what I think. That's how I think this book came to be. And she's like just sitting there going, you know, it'd be great if I wrote a half-assed vampire book. That'd be super.
This I was expecting too. Charlie is Police Chief Swan to the good people of Forks. My primary motivation behind buying a car, despite the scarcity of my funds, was that I refused to be driven around town in a car with red and blue lights on top. Nothing slows down traffic like a cop.
Can you imagine what the Forks like welcome sign is? Welcome to Forks, there is no spoon.
It's a good one. Charlie gave me an awkward one-armed hug when I stumbled my way off the plane.
I watched in the car a minute ago.
It's good to see you, Bells, he said, smiling as he turned page. Automatically caught and steady to me. Did she fall off the plane or something? You haven't changed much. How's Renee? Mom's fine. It's good to see you too, Dad. Okay. I wasn't always allowed to call him Charlie to his face. Alright. I had only a few bags. Most of my Arizona clothes were too permeable for Washington. My mum and I had pulled our resources to supplement my winter wardrobe, but it was still scanty.
She can describe every single day. It's like, I was chewing some bubble gum. I got this from the store at the airport. It cost me $2.95. I thought, son of a bitch.
I swear this is my immortal, but it actually makes money.
Oh god.
I found a good car for you, really cheap, he announced when we were strapped in. What kind of car? I was suspicious of the way he said good car for you, as opposed to just good car. Well, it's a truck actually, a Chevy. Where did you find it? Do you remember Billy Black down at La Push? La Push is the tiny Indian reservation on the coast. No, he used to go fishing with us in the summer, Charlie prompted. That would explain why I didn't remember him. I do a good job of blocking painful unnecessary things from my memory, just like I do when I finish reading this. He's in a wheel...
Is this like... It started turning into a scene from like Frasier or something? Or salad and scrambled eggs.
He's in a wheelchair now.
Edwards left the building.
I'm sorry. Charlie continued when I didn't respond. So he can't drive anymore, and he offered to sell me his truck cheap. Oh, it's permeating my skull.
Oh. After listening to this shit, it's funny as hell.
Let's see, where are we now? What year is it? That's a good question. I could see from his change of expression that this was the question he was hoping I wouldn't ask. Well, Billy's done a lot of work on his engine. It's only a few years old, really. Where the fuck are the vampires?
Yeah. It's just like Bella's boring life.
Yeah, that's
just sort of like Twilight, directed by Ed Wood.
Oh.
That would have made more sense, actually.
Yeah. I hoped that he didn't think so little of me as to believe I would give up that easily. When did he buy it? He bought it in 1984, I think. Did he buy it new? Well, no. I think it was new in the early 60s, or late 50s at the earliest, he admitted sheepishly. Dad, I don't really know anything about cars. I won't be able to fix it if anything went wrong, and I couldn't afford a mechanic. Really, Bella? The thing runs great. They don't build them like that anymore. The Thing, I thought to myself. It had possibilities as a nickname at the very least. How cheap is cheap? After all that, this was the part I couldn't compromise on. Well,
someone kill them already, please!
Well, honey, I kind of already bought it for you as a homecoming gift. I'm going slightly insane reading this. Charlie peeked sideways at me with a hopeful expression. Wow,
A road to nowhere.
You realise we just spent 2 pages talking about a fucking car!
I mean, if all of this material is in that film, I'm gonna shit myself. It's just...
No, they have to put that for the sparkling vampires.
It's sparkling, it's so wonderful.
Why did I ever decide to read this?
You're reading it, so it's not my fault.
You didn't need to do that, Dad.
It's just like 12 minutes long, you have to cut this into 2 parts.
I don't mind, I want you to be happy here. He was looking ahead at the road when he said this. Charlie wasn't comfortable with expressing his emotions out loud. I inherited that from him. but it's okay for you to do it on the written page, isn't it, you bitch? So I was looking...
And then NTom and DCE slowly slipped into madness from reading a terrible book. How did they slip into madness? They started slipping into madness very quickly. The words were so retarded, the book was so lame, and they jumped out of a window, killing themselves with a Ford Fiesta. The Ford Fiesta was great. I'm going off a tangent, sorry.
That's pretty much what I'm reading now. So I was looking straight ahead as I responded. Thanks for telling me that. That's really nice, Dad. Thanks. I really appreciate it. He didn't need to suffer along with me. But you want to make your readers suffer, don't you, Stephanie? Yes.
Probably thrown her into the pit of the underbeat anyway, just over revenge.
And I never looked a free truck in the mouth, or engine.
Wait, that was funny?
Yeah, that was meant to be funny, apparently.
It sucks.
Well now, you're welcome, he mumbled, embarrassed by my thanks. We exchanged a few more comments on the weather, which was wet. And that was pretty much it for conversation. We stared out the windows in silence. Hang on, aren't they driving? Yeah. Keep your eyes on the road, man.
they head-on collision and they all died. The end.
Ugh. We can only, hope and dream, mate. Yeah. It was beautiful, of course. I couldn't deny that. Everything was green. The trees, their trunks covered with moss, their branches hanging with a canopy of it. The ground was covered with ferns. Even the air filtered down greenly through the leaves. It was too green, an alien planet. Yeah.
She was on drugs, I'm telling you.
Eventually we made it to Charlie's. Just call him Dad.
Daddy. Right.
Charlie. He still lived on the small 2-bedroomed house that he'd bought with my mother in the early days of their marriage. Those were the only kind of days their marriage had. The early ones. Okay.
Every time you say Charlie, I'm picturing Charlie Sheen in my head.
What did I get Charlie off?
Peanuts?
No, it's off someone else.
Oh.
I'll remember it. Anyway. Yeah. There, parked on the street in front of the house that never changed was what the... I'll start that again. There, parked on the street in front of the house that never changed was my new to me, truck. It was a faded red colour, with big rounded fenders and a bulbous cab. To my intense surprise, I loved it. I didn't know if it would run, but I could see myself in it. Plus it was one of those solid iron affairs that never gets damaged, the kind that you see at the scene of an accident, paint unscratched, surface rounded by the pieces of a foreign car it had destroyed. Get to the fucking point!
Yes.
Well, Dad, I love it, thanks. Now my horrific tomorrow would be just that less dreadful. I wouldn't be faced with the choice of either walking 2 miles in the rain to school, or accepting a ride in the Chief's cruiser. I'm glad you like it, Charlie said gruffly, embarrassed again. Fuck's sake, this is hard. And that's the end of the chapter.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's just yeah. There's no words for this, really. It's embarrassing, actually, that this made it to print. There's like so many grammatical errors.
I know.
But if you want to have a read along, or just a read for yourself, because this is the edited version, go check out the link in the description. See you all next time. Bye bye.
God help us.